Imagine a world in chaos. Streets are empty, filled with the silence of the dead. The stench of decay hangs heavy in the air. This was the reality of the Black Death. It swept across Europe, Asia and Africa in the 14th century. It was a terrifying and deadly plague. The world had never seen anything like it before. The Black Death was a brutal interruption to daily life. People went to bed healthy and woke up sick. Many died within days. Panic spread as quickly as the disease. No one knew how to stop it. The year 1347 marked the start of this nightmare. A ship from the east arrived in Europe. It carried with it a deadly secret, the plague. The Black Death had arrived and the world would never be the same. We now know the Black Death was not a curse. It wasn't magic, it was a disease. The culprit was a bacterium called Yersinia pestis. This bacterium lived in rodents like rats. Fleas, those tiny insects, carried the bacterium from rats to humans. People didn't understand this at the time. They didn't know about bacteria or how diseases spread. They looked for explanations in the stars, in their sins, in anything they could think of. The lack of knowledge made the plague even more terrifying. There was no cure, no way to protect oneself. All people could do was wait and pray they weren't the next to fall ill. The Black Death moved with terrifying speed. It spread along trade routes carried by ships and caravans. From its origins in Asia, it reached the Middle East and then Europe. Imagine those early days, sailors arriving in new ports, unaware they carried death within them. Merchants trading goods, unknowingly spreading the plague with every transaction. The disease moved relentlessly westward. It swept across Europe, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Cities that were once bustling centers of trade became ghost towns. Fields lay unharvested as farmers succumbed to the illness. Section 4. Collapse and Transformation, the Black Death's Impact. The impact of the Black Death was profound. It killed millions. Some estimates suggest it wiped out a third of Europe's population. The Black Death wasn't just a medical disaster. It was a societal and economic catastrophe. The feudal system, which had defined medieval Europe for centuries, began to crumble. With so many dead, there were not enough peasants to work the land for the lords. People were left questioning everything, their faith, their leaders, the very structure of their world. The old ways were no more. The Black Death forced a dramatic reshaping of society. Section 5. Echoes of the Past, the Black Death's Enduring Legacy. The Black Death eventually subsided. It left behind a world forever changed. The trauma of the plague echoed through generations. It shaped art, literature, and even religious beliefs. The Black Death serves as a stark reminder of the power of disease. It highlights the importance of understanding and combating infectious diseases. We must learn from the mistakes of the past. The Black Death, though a dark chapter, reminds us of the resilience of humanity. We survived, rebuilt, and learned. It's a story we must remember, a lesson from history we cannot afford to forget.